What's happening? This is 911, and you are tuned in to AVG Podcast. As always, man, you know how we do it. Let's get to it. So today, I am excited to have a longtime friend, classmate. Very honored to have you on, man. How you doing today, Corey? How you doing?
I am doing well. I've been following you, right? And I was like, you know what? I'm just waiting for my invitation. I saw
Yeah.
Mel get on, I saw Ebony get on. I was like, yeah, I'm just waiting.
Hey, the time has come. Wait no longer, man. I'm excited, and I do want to thank you too, because like you said, man, you have been one of the first supporters I had as soon as I started it up. You've been with me since the beginning of time. When I did the first episode, man, I saw you early on active on that. So I just want to tell you, man, hey, I really appreciate all the interaction and all the love you shown the podcast since I started my journey with mine. So we're gonna get right to it, Corey, man. You have started a business that not too many people are in that field, especially that look like us. So it caught my attention as soon as I saw you taking that journey. So how did that come about? And just to let people know, if you see the floral stuff behind him and all of that, Corey's in the plants and he has his own business. And how did that come about?
No, so good. Long journey. Of course, I love plants, right? I love gardening. Here I have probably in this room in my plant studio, I have probably over 100 plants. Throughout my house, I probably have around 200 plants.
Wow.
But oh my God, so it started with me having a moment of self-discovery,
Mm-hmm.
right? Wanting to do something for me, being in corporate America for so long, right? Pouring into the corporate system. And I woke up one day, Avery, no lie, and I was like, this can't be it.
Yeah.
I was like,
Man, I know that feeling.
I want to do something more. I don't want this to be until I'm like 60 or 70 and wake up and be like, where's my life? Right.
Man.
And so, me, working in corporate America and then me becoming a full-time caregiver. I moved my mom in 2.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Plants have been my outlet.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my first garden with my great grandmother who lived to be over 100. And, my mom and my grandmother, we were all in a garden and we had this beautiful garden that actually went up in flames. I have to tell you about that story because Kelly, my middle brother, caught
Shout
the
out
damn
Kelly.
garden on fire.
Yeah. Kelly was responsible for that.
Listen, Kelly was a fire starter in all ways. That was my first love of gardening. And then to hear stories, to grow up the way we grew up with family, right? In a community, in a small community, everyone knew everyone, but we had that strong sense of family. And I grew up in a house of three, wonderful women, my mom and then my grandmother, and then to live to see and to talk to my great grandmother, right? And to hear
Man,
stories and
the
to hear the
blessing.
stories about my great grandmother with her rose bushes and her
Yeah.
gardens and her flowers
Yeah.
and us, we was like, oh, you picked that up from your great grandmother. You
Yeah.
got that green from your great grandmother. And so it kind of started with like one bamboo plant here and there when I was in like high school or when I was back and forth to college. But it really transpired when I moved back to New Orleans and started my career with my telecommunications company.
Mm.
To I was in the office and I just got a promotion, and my
Mm-hmm.
store manager had this pothos that she
Mm.
wasn't watering. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, girl, give me this damn plant. Let me take care of this plant. And the
Yeah.
plant started like growing. And I took the plant, I bought the plant to my new store,
Uh-huh.
and then I had this huge sunroom, and it turned into one plant, to two plants, to three plants. Then I looked around, I had my own little jungle
Wow.
of plants. And like from my different moves from New Orleans to Dallas to Seattle back down here, I just had a wide variety of plants, right? I remember one of my best friends when I went to Seattle from Dallas, I was like, hey, I'm gonna be back in a year. Take care of my plants. Even though he killed a few, I'm not gonna name them. But as soon as I got back, I was like, okay, I'm coming to get my plants.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened, right?
Mm.
And then I started really getting into plants and taking care of plants and learning all the soil types, the lighting, and reading up on all the plants. But it was still like natural
Mm-hmm.
to me, right? I would just get a plant and was like, oh, this is wonderful. Like this plant behind me, this fiddle fig leaf, it's not, it's the diva of the plant community that many people don't know how to successfully take care of.
Mm-hmm.
Not into the naysayers. I wasn't into the plant community at the time. I just saw this beautiful plant from when it was like about yay high, and now it's
Man.
taller than me. It's like
Yeah.
70 feet tall, to where I'm like,
Wow.
this is my thing. And so the journey of earthy soul elements, one day I got into I found a therapist, right, about 4.5 years ago. Because I wanted to have something in my toolkit. Sometimes we can't always rely on our friends to be our listening ear. Everyone
Mm,
goes through something, right?
man.
And so I got my therapist into my toolkit. She was like, Corey, what's your 5-year plan? And I don't know, but I know after I retire, I want to own my plant nursery. I want to, be in the garden, right? I want to just sell plants. Or like back in the day in Alexandria, I want to be the man selling mustard greens out the back of his truck, right? That's what I wanted to do and just relax. She was like, well, why wait? And I had a wonderful mentor at the company that I currently work for that was like, why wait? You can do some of that now.
Mm-hmm.
And then the nuggets started coming. Then God
Mm,
started speaking to me, right? Then people started saying, well, Corey, tell me about this plant. My therapist, hey, I asked you a lot about plants. You need to start charging me. Like, this is a thing. Like, my directors were like, hey, I want you to grow me a plant or give me one of your plants. And she said, how much? And I'm like, what do you mean? How much? It's
mm-hmm.
it's yours. I just give plants away and tell people how to take care of their plants. And so that's one journey. And then I always wear and string my crystal bracelets.
Mm-hmm.
And that journey took me on one day just buying beads during COVID and making my bracelets. And so it was a journey of I was at a networking event for work, and a woman was like, hey, this motivational speaker, where do you get your bracelets from? I string them myself. And I was like, here. And then she was like, how much? And I was like, it's yours. You can have it.
Yeah.
And so I started placing all these nuggets, right? And then all of a sudden it was just like, why not me? Why not take this journey? So, no lie, I tell people if you wake up between the hours of like 3 and 4, just out of your sleep, that's when the atmosphere is at its thinnest, right? And God is trying to tell you something, right?
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
God to tell you something because He's talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
And woke me up, and I just kept hearing like earthy, right? And like, that's I need to I need a name for this business. And so I thought about earthy, I thought about earthy soul, and then I thought about the elements like earth, fire, wind, water. And I'm like, earthy soul elements. So no lie, I got up, wrote that name down, talked to God, meditated on it,
Mm-hmm.
and I went and I searched earthy soul elements. I Googled it, I hashtagged it, I went to the trademark website,
Mm-hmm.
and the next day I formed my LLC. I submitted my application to trademark earthy soul elements, and I just started brainstorming on what
Yeah.
I to offer. And earthy soul elements is everything from the perspective of things that feels good to your soul. Like gardening, plant consulting, your bracelets, meditation beads, and it just grew from there. The base of my business is teaching people how to care for their plants and teaching people how to grow their own food. And that's the birth of Earthy Soul Elements. And it's a lot of thought into my symbol here. I got one of my favorite artists that I kind of work with to help craft this symbol to where the green here is the symbol for earth
Mm-hmm.
and it's mind, body, and soul. And so
Nice.
a lot of meaning behind this symbol too, and it's pending trademark. So
Yeah.
hopefully,
Yeah.
pending for the past 2 years, the name is mine. The symbol is soon to come. But yeah,
Gotcha.
and I've been teaching people how to care for their plants in person in Dallas. I help people with maintenance and go in and help plant shop with them. Do plant design. I do plant parties, stay rooted plant socials to where we
Okay.
plant and sip. And then for people outside of Dallas, of course, I do virtual plant design and virtual maintenance packages and virtual garden consulting, and
Mm-hmm.
it's good. And I feel that it's just the beginning, and I'm pulling all this energy in because one thing that I notice about life too is, and I can't remember this quote, and I saw it on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Give 8 hours to a job. We give 8 hours to someone else's idea, someone else's
Mm-hmm.
business.
Yeah.
If you give that 8 hours and you don't give yourself at least 2 or 3 when you get home, you're failing,
Yeah.
right? And so that's if working out, eating healthy, meditating, praying, talking to God, whatever it is. And so all the things that I've learned and all the obstacles, God kind of, moved out of my way so I can, graduate, get my degree, have all this knowledge. It's time for me to put it into my.
Reap what you sow. Yeah. Now let me ask you this. Speaking of your degree, when I was reading up on your media kit, you do have an MBA and a bachelor, just to let people know, in business administration. So this wasn't just something you flew off the wind, because and there's no knock to anybody that just starts a business. But when you have intimate knowledge like you have, and have had actual schooling for business and starting businesses and stuff like that, how did you make that correlate to when you started your own business, and how did all that come together and I guess help you become Earthy Soul Element?
Crazy story. So I tell people all the time, I used to think that I was so behind,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm in this, I found a company that I loved, right? And I started moving up and I started getting promoted. And people around my age frame was like VPs and AVPs and directors. And I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I was running a race until it was about mind timing, mind divine timing, right?
Man.
Always accustomed to put myself in the vision of others to where I'd be like, it's about mind time, mind divine timing. Age is a social construct. I don't care that you're
Mm-hmm.
starting a business at 44, right? And
Mm-hmm.
dreams. But at that time, I remember getting a promotion at work and I didn't think I was going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a director there at the time was like, hey, you need to get your bachelor's degree. And this is, I think I was at like 32, 33. You need to
Mm-hmm.
get your bachelor's degree. And I'm like, oh, okay. He was
Yeah.
like, yeah, because you don't want that to stop you. You got the skill set, you have the knowledge. Get that piece of paper behind you. And
Mm-hmm.
it took me a year to get my bachelor's because I had all the core classes and the core
Mm-hmm.
courses. Because remember, I used to be a music education major. I wanted to be a
Exactly. That's why when I saw this, I was like, I gotta bring him on to see how this journey went this way. Okay.
to teach music, but it's crazy how life just brings you through these different transitions. So I got my business administration degree, and then I got the itch.
Mm,
And I turned around 3 months later, and I was enrolled in the MBA program.
mm,
And there is where I learned everything
mm,
from marketing to everything that I learned in the MBA program, I could use right then and there at work,
mm,
right? I remember it was this simulation in the last semester of me getting my degree to where we was able to create a company. And I love me a good glass of wine. And so
mm,
I was running this winery and I
mm,
had to focus on customer experience, employee experience, the bottom line, growing a business, marketing, just everything. And I loved it. It was so much fun. It was like a video game, but almost like kind of like real life. And that got everything in my mind like started to spin.
mm,
But I at that time was focused because I'm like, this company, through my the post 9/11 GI Bill, right? And my company tuition reimbursement program, I was able to get my degree. So my thought process was giving back to the
yeah,
company versus giving back to me. And I switched that.
yeah,
But that was the initial stage of trying to get that education. And then it kind of just grew to always being, learning. I tell people, I always learn something.
man, that's
Have a degree or a certification. Like I read books on plants every single day. That doesn't mean someone with a degree knows more than me. It just means that, they have the degree.
they had that paper.
But yeah, I'm always learning about something.
Yeah. Now it's two things since we've been talking that I noticed that I want people to that you've dropped jewels from already that I really want people to take notice of. You stated that a lot of the stuff that you were pursuing was because of, social constraints. But God showed you that money will follow your passion. It was stuff that you were doing that you were passionate about, that people were offering you money that you wasn't even charging for. So that was God showing you a sign like, hey, this might be your career path. This is your career path. But I'm going to let you continue on, with the social constraints. I'm going to let you get your degree and do everything else and, work in the constraints of that. But I want people to also know, because you got to work, you got to make money. But a lot of people be so consumed with following money and following, what everybody thinks and what you should, and hit landmarks that you should hit at a certain time. Because I'm going to tell you something else that you said about that caught my attention, because it's weird that I just posted something in my story a couple days ago, how they said if you pop a bag of popcorn or you put it in a kettle, all the popcorn is put in at the same time, but every kernel doesn't, pop at the same time. It takes time, so you have to wait your time. So those were two things that I really want people to take away from what you just said early on about following your passion and let the money follow you. Because if you're doing something you're passionate about, you're gonna be more engaged with it. You're gonna put more love and care in it. You're gonna treat it like a baby. Because when you're starting a business or anything like that, it's all you. It's no more. I don't feel like going to work today. I don't feel like messing with them today. This is your baby, and I think one of our other classmates, Milshika, she brought that up. But when people don't know, when you starting a business, it is a full-time thing that is all on you. The failure or the success lies solely in your hands. So those were two gems I want to just commend you for dropping early on in this interview.
No, that is so true. It is, my baby. And I remember just getting sometimes like weekday, right? I used to work towards the weekend, and now I have to set time away for my business. What's a priority for me? And, I remember the old people used to always say, our elders, our ancestors,
Yeah,
people are going to make time for things they want to do. And
boy,
that stuck with me.
boy,
If someone don't want to go take you to dinner, if you a priority, they gonna make time,
they gonna make time for that dinner.
right? They gonna make time. People will always make time to do the things they want to do.
Yeah.
Let me pause these messages coming through.
You're a
Mute
business owner, like you say, it's 24/7.
mute this chat. But no, it's really good, and I love me some El Chica. It's so great to see our classmates, class of
Man,
'97, doing a thing.
man. We were kind of talking about before you came on, just to let everybody know, man. When I brought you on, I said we are classmates, but we're members of the band together, Peabody Marching Band, one of the most famous high schools you can come across in Louisiana. So we're very prideful about our school and about what we've done as far as the band, but our classmates and a shout out to all the Peabody, everybody that came through. It's one big family, but now we hold a special place in that school because it's a lot of us now, man. I see either opening businesses, multiple degrees, still look good, man, still flourishing in life. And like you kind of touched on it, we were just a special group from the time we first hit the stage, hit the ground running at Peabody. We wasn't your average freshman around there. So it's just good to see everybody, smiling like you, man, everybody, doing good in life. So I just wanted to shout out 9-7 right quick now.
And I'm gonna sidetrack this funny story about me and Avery. Avery, I don't know if you remember this, but we were both freshmen in the band, and I remember it came out towards the middle part of the year when you had to vote for the yearbook on the most friendliest, the most whatever.
Yeah.
From freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, no lie, in the run-ins, it was always me and Avery. Avery used to always beat me every time. And now my senior year, I was like, we are in the run-ins again, and Derek is on the most friendliest. Oh my God, I'm like, oh my God.
I remember that chord, man. We were some light guys. That says a lot about our character, even to this day. Look, I was going to ask you this, man, because a lot of your personality, because I wanted you to kind of talk about the experience people get with you from social media, because sometimes I know, people, they change from high school, but certain seeds that are planted, you can see, and you see them like a flower, they blossom, and your personality has always been big. You've always been giving. You've always been inclusive with everyone. So How do you bring that to your social media to get the engagement that you do? Because you've been doing good with the social media with this.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's so crazy. And a funny story about me and social media. I want to say in 2013, I got off all social media platforms, right?
Mm,
Facebook, I just deleted it. And I was getting too invested about the people opinions about,
mm,
the life I'm living when it comes
mm-hmm,
to being Black, being LGBTQIA, whatever the case may
mm-hmm,
be. A lot of ignorant things were starting to impact me
mm-hmm.
and impacting my light to where I wasn't a happy person. I
Gotcha.
wasn't as positive, and I
Mm-hmm,
was, I watch things and I'm mindful of things that I feel, like
mm-hmm.
that intuition that we all have. Like if I'm in an environment where it's kind of off, I'm leaving. I don't care where I am. I don't care who I'm with. Guess what? I'm leaving. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's how I got out of that whole social media environment and really started concentrating on me and pouring more into me and really trying to be my authentic self, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I slowly, I think around 2015, the company I currently work for was like, hey, we want you to have a social media presence. I was like, no, I'm not on social media, right?
Yeah.
She was like, well, I need you to have a social media presence. So I created a social media presence for my company,
Mm-hmm.
right? To show who I am as a person. And
Gotcha.
then that slowly turned into, people wanting to follow my company, Instagram. And so I got my personal Instagram. And so with the company, I turned into this kind of personality where I was always in the green screen, motivating people and teaching people how to sell and sales execution and customer experience, employee experience. Where when I crafted Earthy Soul Elements, I'm like, okay, here we go. How do I feel about opening myself up? And I tell people this quote all the time is I'm always in rooms where I observe, but I do not absorb.
Man, that's
I'm
deep.
very careful with
That's deep.
observing my social environments and where I am.
Mm-hmm.
I let people in, and when they talk about certain things, I have a blocker, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
aware, I'm empathetic, but I don't absorb. Something that we do as humans is we always put ourselves in a situation. Like when we hear a story, when we watch a movie, we are so emotionally invested,
Man,
right? That we put ourselves in that, and then that's when we start to feel.
to
That's when
feel.
we have our
Yeah.
opinions, and I don't do that. If you notice the beginning of Earthy Soul Elements, it was plants. It was
Mm-hmm.
bracelets. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
sizzle reels, right? And I wasn't getting the traction. And then I was like, okay, here we go. Let's get in front of the camera. Let's see what happens, right?
Yeah.
Let's the trolls, the social media trolls are gonna come after me and how I have to, block.
Mm-hmm.
And so God is amazing. And when I put that light out there, I was like the most engaging post. And so I got more out there. And I
Mm-hmm.
put more out there, more. And I was like, Corey, the hell with it. Be your authentic self.
Be yourself.
Throw yourself out there. And you notice with Earthy Soul Elements, I always say my tribe
My try. I
because I'm
like that.
looking for my tribe of people. And
Mm-hmm.
I block people on social media. I look at
Yeah.
the comments and be like, delete.
Yeah.
And that's me observing, but I'm not absorbing
Absorb.
because you don't
I
know
like
enough
that.
about me to have an opinion about me, right?
Exactly.
And if you do, I don't care because that's your perception of your reality about me, which is false because that's not how I
Exactly.
see myself. And so I just grew, man. One thing about me, I'm gonna have a good time. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
dance.
Mm-hmm.
And Peabody in the band, I love to dance
We
and
cut a
Corey.
rug. I was just talking to Tamika the other day. She was messing with me about a video I posted. She said, "Hey, you coming out of retire?" I said, "Don't get it twisted. Now, I'll still cut a rug if I have to, depending on how the
Listen,
knees feel that day."
thank you. I was thinking about that too, the knees. I was like, if you have to think about the endurance for you with that tenor drum and me playing a trumpet to move up and down the field and to dance and to come off that
And do
floor.
a choreographed step, 3 or 4
Yep.
pieces. Man, that was a lot that we was doing at that age group, man. We were pretty talented. I don't want to toot our horn too much, but sometimes if you
Exactly.
don't toot your own horn, you don't have no music. So we were a pretty talented group, man.
We were. And so that's how I kind of crafted my social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
On based on my authenticity, and I had to feel good about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't post anything that I don't feel good about. I don't post because it's really about my gift and my creation, and then
Mm-hmm.
once I let it out, it's for the
Open
world,
for.
right? For interpretation. But I do have to feel good about it. I do have to feel good and relate to the music, you know,
Mm-hmm.
vibe to the music. I do have to vibe to what I post. I have so much content to where I create it, and I had it scheduled to post, and I'm about to post it the next day, and I was like, no, I don't feel,
Not
you
in
know,
that space for that right now.
right.
I
I'm not in
got you.
that space. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
even post it. And then it turned into I'm at 13,000. It turned into like once I hit 5,000,
Mm-hmm.
then it went to 10, and I'm at 13. I'm like, wow, this is good. My tribe of people
Mm-hmm.
are finding
They
me.
finding you.
It's
Yeah.
it's really it's good. It's rewarding. And I try not to think about the number of followers. I try to think about the engagement.
Yes.
Who is responding? Who can I help? Who can I talk to? Right. And unfortunately, sometimes who do I need to block?
That too. Look, I told my kid because just like like I just said, when you put whether it's art, music, once you give it to the world, it's open for interpretation, whether it's
Hmm.
negative or positively received. But I told my cousin, because even my sister, she was like, hey, boy, when you first start talking, because as much as I talk on camera, you might see me post, I'm really a private, reserved person off camera. But I said I had to master the art of posting a lot without posting nothing. So I give you as much as I can, but it's still a line. Like they say in life, don't cross that gun line, boss. I got a gun line of my personal space that I'm guarded about and I'm very protective of. And I think that a lot of people, just with what you said, block people that's not a part of the energy that you want to receive or take in. Because everybody, even if there's some people that's what like we're online to push out positivity. It's some people that jump online strictly looking for people to tear down,
Hmm.
strictly looking for stuff to do next. That's what they do.
They
So
do.
you gotta allow them to have their space too, but you won't have it here.
Yep. And guess what? It's crazy that light and positivity attracts light and positivity, but it also attracts darkness. And I don't know if you've
Facts.
seen Sinners, but
I seen it.
ooh,
I
ooh,
seen it. What you
that
thought about it? What you thought about
yeah.
it? Right quick. What you thought about Sin?
I love the symbolism. I
Mm-hmm.
love the boldness. I wanted more. That's the only thing
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like about it was I wanted
Gotcha.
more. I wanted a trilogy. I
Yeah.
wanted to know about the love stories. I love
Yeah.
that the love interest was a full figure black woman,
Yeah.
right? I want to know their story. I love the story of the South and the Asian community and all the communities and everything. The symbolism from the vampire falling from the sky, like, was that Lucifer? Like, we want to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And did
so
you hear real
like,
quick before we get too far into? Did you hear they talking about making a series of this? Right? You heard about that?
oh,
I'm here.
I
Check
would be
that
in.
out. Check that out.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna bring the plants back to the forefront right quick because for the casuals out here, and I consider, like I told you when we were kind of getting ready to do the episode, I always kind of study plants. It wasn't plants of this sort, but plants always had an interest in me. So for the casuals, what are some easy plants that you can name? A few easy plants that when you're first getting started that you may can take on and it won't be too much responsibility, like you say, have people killing the stuff.
Listen, it's so crazy. It's a lot of easy care plants, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna preface it to say it's also based on what you want to do if you have time, right? If you don't have time for plants or have time to manage plants, right, I would probably suggest a plant that I'm about to suggest in a second, but you
Mm-hmm.
have to make sure you have time because plants are a living thing. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
just like humans. We
Gotcha.
need light,
Mm-hmm.
we need air, we need water, we need food and nutrients, and we need space.
Mm.
So you have that in mind. You can take care of any plant. I don't think plants are hard to take care of, but certain plants require certain things, like certain
Gotcha.
humans require certain things. Like for
Gotcha.
example, if you're raising, like your son is into sports, and
Mm-hmm.
first, amazing, and I love
Appreciate it.
dynamics with your son,
Thank
but
you. Thank
you have to like teach and develop your son differently from your daughter, right?
you.
And that's
Mm.
so certain
Gotcha.
going to have certain requirements. So some of the basic plants that I always tell my newcomers is one is the bamboo. I don't have a bamboo plant, and I don't. All my bamboo plants are in bedrooms because they're always good and luck and you're right, bringing in positive energy. But that was
Mm.
my first plant. My second
Okay.
plant is the pothos.
Okay.
In the South in Louisiana, we don't. This is the ivy, the down
Yeah.
ivy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Toast are so popular and so good in variations. Like I have two variations of pot toast here.
Okay.
And so these are so easy to
Mm-hmm.
take care of from a perspective of, making sure you have time to water and they can take a little neglect.
Yes.
Reason
Okay.
why pothos are so easy to take care of because they can do you can have them dry out for a couple of days and not water. They kind of tell you when they need to water because they droop easily. They love indirect sunlight, so you don't have to have them in front of a window. You can place them in a corner, right? So easy to take care of and so easy to multiply. Like I had maybe two pothos, and these are from plants that I propagated. And
Mm.
so when I talk about propagation, I mean I would take plants, and plants always have like what is called a node. So
Mm-hmm.
this is let me find a good one. All right. So here is a plant node right here. Looks
Okay.
like a little root.
Got you.
You can cut that plant off, put it in water, and root it, and you would have a whole nother plant. For
Wow.
example, here
Mm-hmm.
is one that I cut.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that little area root that I
That
showed you?
root,
Put it
that's
in water,
that.
and it grew fruit.
Wow.
So now I can put this in a little pot and it's gonna grow more plants and then it's gonna turn into this.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So I would say one, of course, pothos is easy to take care of.
Mm-hmm.
Two, snake plant. I have a snake plant down here.
I know those. Okay, so you giving me names to plants I know, but I just didn't know the names. Okay.
Yeah, the nickname for this one, I don't know why, but it's called the mother-in-law tongue, whatever
Mother,
it's
yeah.
so short, but snake plant. Snake plant is really good too. It can tolerate low light. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think any plant is no light, right? It
Yeah.
can tolerate
Yeah.
low light, but for a plant to nourish and thrive, your plant is going to need light, right?
Yeah.
Indirect sunlight, that plant is really good. You can water that plant, let it dry completely out. You can forget to water it, and it still is going to grow, right?
Got you.
And so, something that I teach my clients is one, I like to have that discovery section.
Mm.
I'd be like, okay, what are you into? Tell me about how much time you have. What plans have you killed? Unalive, right? Tell me about your day so I can kind of monitor to see because some plants take a lot of maintenance than other plants, right? And so I like to get that self-discovery, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's little things that new plant parents do to kill plants. One is they don't know about drainage. Right. And so when I talk about drainage, you always buy plants with these nursery hose. Right.
Got you.
And that's because water needs to run out
Out.
and run.
Okay. Okay.
When you plant a pothos or any plant in a nursery pot that doesn't have drainage hose,
Mm-hmm.
plant sits in water. And once your plant sits in water, those roots are going to get soggy. They're going to
Mm.
bacteria, and you're going to have root rot, and your plant is going to die. Right.
Got you. Okay.
Another thing that people notice and do plant parents is when they see brown leaves, oh my God, my plant needs water, and they overwater. Right.
See, that's something I did with my tree house. I'll tell you about that another day.
Another thing too is to know and check before you water. Like if you have nursery hose at the bottom, like you see, this is really dry at the bottom, right? I know
Mm-hmm.
it has no water. I always check my soil to see if it's damp at the top. If it's damp at the top, I'm not going to water it. I don't care if the instructions say water this plant once a week. What you
Mm-hmm.
have to realize about plants is in your environment can be different from any other environment, right? You might
Mm.
have humidity in the air. Your plant might get more sunlight. you might have your plant under a vent. It can be many different environmental changes in your house that will require you to water your plant more or water your
Gotcha.
plant less. What I tell people is to check your plants, right? You
Mm.
know the instructions on raising your kids, right? You have to move, bob and weave, and
Move accordingly. Yeah. Adjust.
it's the same with plants. So you have to be able to check your plant and be like, this plant is dry, it needs water. Another thing about beginner plant parents is they don't water through. When I say water through, they'll get their little water pot, they'll throw a little cup of water, and that's it. No, when you water a plant, you need to water until you see water coming out the bottom.
Mm.
Then you let it sit, kind of let it dry, and then you can put it back in your planter or whatever the case may be. Water your plants through. Because if you water your plant, like you only give your plant a cup of water, how water travels through the soil, it might not be hitting all the roots, right?
Gotcha.
Might not be feeding it enough water. So I tell people when you water your plant, when your plant is completely dried out, you water your plant through until water is gushing out at the bottom, and then you let it sit there in a sink or in a container. Make sure no excess water is not sitting in water, and then it's ready to go until your next watering season. So
Mhm.
that's the basics, right? I want people to be able to know the basics. When new plant parents, you want to know about south facing windows, west facing windows, east, and what's the best sunlight? What's the best draining soil? How do I propagate? No, take one step at a time. Plant needs a few things just like humans: water, light, air, space, right? And food.
Gotcha.
If you have that, you are going to be a good plant parent, right? And start small. Start with one plant, master
Mhm.
that, then get another one, and then kind of research, right? And I
Mm.
want plant parents to understand that the cord you get with those plants is basic. It's so basic. Like research that and know that that cord and what it's telling you to do might change in your environment. And it could also, Avery, change by season. You water your more in spring and summer versus fall and winter, right? Because of the temperatures and the change of humidity and the climate. Your soil is going to hold more moisture in winter and fall versus spring and summer. So it sounds like a lot, but I want people to realize the very basic thing is plants need light, water, space, nutrients, right, to be able to thrive. If you give your plants that, it's fine. It's
Mhm.
okay to have brown leaves too. I tell people that it's like as humans, think of your plants as extensions, right?
Gotcha.
So the brains, the organs of the plant is your root system.
Mhm.
The leaves, that's your hair, that's your nails, right?
Mm.
And sometimes you have to clip them, like right here. I have a
Mhm.
brown leaf.
Yeah.
And guess what? That's okay. When this leaf turns completely brown, I'm going to this base and I'm just
Mhm.
going to put it out.
Okay.
That's it. And many people think too, look, I have a yellow leaf here. I'm just going to take from the base and pull that off. Once your leaf is yellow or start to turn brown, it's not going to turn green again.
Mm. Gotcha.
Let it go. Because just like our body, you think about these green and brown leaves. What happens to when we have infections? The
Mm.
body's sending white blood cells to try to
Yeah. Yeah.
fix, right? So your plant is sending nutrients to try to fix this, and it's not going to come
Not
back
gonna
white.
fit.
It's
That's
done.
not how photosynthesis works.
Right, right. Go ahead, cut that off and let it go. Having a few brown leaves is okay, but and you're gonna kill a few plants too. I can tell you, I have one arch nemesis called the croton. It's sitting over there. I probably killed this plant about 5 or 6 times,
Yeah.
but I was determined, right, to learn this plant. And everyone says the fiddle fig leaf is their arch nemesis. For me, I leave it alone. That's one of
Yeah.
those things that you water and you leave it alone. You don't like
Yeah.
that much. You don't like to be moved. But now I bought it in here, but I'm gonna put it back in my living area soon. But yeah, it's really fun. It's nurturing to your soul to take care of plants. I think as far as like, your mental anxiety, this is earth. This is nature. This is
Yeah.
God, right?
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
a living thing. Like with photosynthesis, plants release oxygen to us.
Mm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
this plant release more oxygen at night. That's why snake plants are in my bedroom, right?
Mm.
It's so many different benefits to plants, right? These are the reason why they're here, right? For us and to give us oxygen. So that was a long-winded
No,
conversation, but I
no. Hey, that's why I brought you on. We need to get now. Look, this question here, this is just on some turf war stuff because I be checking out my neighbors, and like you say, it takes time. I see them cultivating these beautiful gardens with these beautiful flowers and colors. Like, what is the secret sauce to that, man? What are some of those good outside plants with those pinks and those vibrant colors that I see? Because I got one neighbor, Corey, you love her, man. She every time I round the corner, she's sitting down in the yard doing something. Her yard, when I say beautiful, man, like something on a postcard. So, what are some good outside? And you can talk about how you do the virtual thing, but just down here in Texas, what are some beautiful flowers that we can put in our garden that sort of beginner, but I guess mid level for us?
so many, Avery. Like, oh my God. So one, you have to always shop native plants. Lowe's, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say their name. The big box stores,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they carry all the beautiful flowers and stuff that are
Mm.
not native to Texas, right?
Gotcha.
It
Mm-hmm.
gets really hot. So
Mm-hmm. Dry.
very drought tolerance, right? But
Yeah.
even though like roses are not native to Texas, they
Mm-hmm.
do really good in drought. They do really good in like frost. They always come back. Those are always my go-to, but it's so many different varieties of plants. I always suggest clients go to your local nursery and go to places that customize and are relatable to native plants in our area. In our region.
Gotcha.
We
Okay.
have so many different things. And even like plants that are floral or flowers that are not native to Texas. I grow tulips, I have lilies, so many different things, but it takes time. And I would say two things that you need to know.
Okay.
One, find your plants that are native to Texas, right? And then two, annuals and perennials.
And
Annuals,
perennials. Okay.
one season. They're
Gotcha.
going to be pretty for one season and they're going to die.
Gotcha.
Perennials are going to keep coming back
Okay.
year after year after year.
Okay. Good
And
information.
you know those two things, you can have
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want in your garden. And it's going to take time, right? I tell people start small, have fun. My flower bed out front, and I have my flower bed in what I call my sanctuary
Yeah.
is I revamp that every year because I
Mm.
learn different things and I want to be able to experience different colors. Last
Mm-hmm.
year, I had jasmine and rosemary and lavender in my front with my roses and my calla lilies because I wanted people to walk up to my house and smell as an experience. And so this season, I still kept my three big rose bushes, but I got the calla lilies blooming. I want sunflowers. I want more of a wild type of Texas kind of vibe when it comes to my front. And then I moved all my herbs and stuff in the back because then I got a little selfish because I'm like, yeah, I'm not in the front as much.
Yeah.
I want to experience these smells for
Yeah.
myself. When I'm back there, so let me
Yeah.
take my lavender, my jasmine, my
Yeah.
Egyptian jasmine, my rosemary, my mint, and I'm gonna put that back in my space.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
got
front.
you.
But
Yeah.
just take your time. And I did an install 2 weeks ago to where we went plant shopping and we went to local nurseries and we found native flowers to Texas and we did a couple of outdoor planters, right? And so it's good, right? And then in
Mhm.
Texas, you just got to be prepared to water and making sure your landscaping have the drip system because it's gonna get hot,
Yeah.
right? As long as you got those few things, shop native to where you are, right? If you want beautiful blooms, and two, know the difference between annuals
And
and
you.
perennials.
Oh, look, I learned to say I'm got beginners class checked out, Corey. I'm headed towards that store now. Look.
But it's so many different varieties of all the different flowers. Like I love color. I just love pops of color. And it's just so fun. And it's so rewarding to see things pop up and bloom. Like my
Yeah.
favorite flower is the lily, the starlit lilies, the orange lilies. I play a lot off those.
Hmm.
And my Instagram, and I want my space, my sanctuary in my space. I want to know the spiritual meaning and the energy
Mm.
of every single flower.
Yeah. Yeah.
And create that energy in that space, right?
Man.
And so that's with everything. That's with herbs. That's with
Man.
gardening. I just want to go outside and like you, like we're people think that we're extroverts because we're out talking, but I need my alone time
Need my space.
and take care of my plants and not
Yeah.
be social. And I do that
Exactly.
time. Guess what? This is for me. I'm not recording this. I am
Yeah. Exactly. Look, man, Corey, before we get up out of here, I want you to tell people, because you kind of highlighted some of the merch you had on earlier. I want you to talk about the merch a little bit, though. Talk about how they can get in contact you for the merchandise, the shirts, the beads, the everything, man. Just let them know what all you got
Like,
going on.
so go to earthysoilelements.com. That's my website, but I have
Okay.
so many other different platforms. I sell on TikTok Shop, Earthy Soul Elements.
Okay.
Also, Instagram, Earthy Soul Elements. You can go to my bio and look at my link tree that has some quick shopping items right there. You can book a virtual consultation from TikTok, from Instagram, from my website. I believe in 1 or 2 clicks for my consumers to find me, right? So you got my bio, and boom, you will have everything that you need. And let me show you real quick to show you how.
And look, when he say go to his socials, as soon as he shot me an email and say check out my media kit, I said, oh, this he know what he talking about. When I checked out this print, I promise you, you will know everything you need to know.
So this
There you
is
go.
my social media right here. If you click on the link,
Uh-huh.
it will load you to booking a consultation. You can hit my website from here. You can quickly
Got you.
shop for some of my merchandise, and also you
Got you.
can read some of my plant blogs. I
That's what's
always
up.
I always try to teach people why you should come to me, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you some free tips, right? So
Mm-hmm.
check out my plant blogs, but Earthy Soul Elements, everything. I'm even on Google. So you can find me on Google. You can shop Earthy Soul Elements on Google. So
That's
Google,
what's up.
type, Insta.
Yeah. That's my classmate and took this show on the road, man. Corey, man, I really appreciate you taking time out your busy schedule to sit down with me, man. It's been a minute since we talked in person, but
No,
it's always a pleasure. Like you say, from the times of us running for who the class favorite is, from back in the day to fast forward, man, 20 some years later, to sit here and smile and laugh and just talk with you and exchange information, man. I really appreciate this, man. I really appreciate it.
my pleasure. My pleasure. It was fun. We got to do it again soon.
Hey, we will. We're gonna update the people. I might have a plant I can showcase next time. You can't be
Yeah,
sitting in front of me with
yeah.
all these
Hey,
plants and
let
I ain't
me
got
guess
one.
what? Let's when you get your first plant, I got a free consultation for you.
All
So
right.
get your plan and then let me know, and then I can send you a link to schedule and we can take care of your first plant.
That's a bit. It's on camera, so I got you
Yeah,
locked in.
that's it.
You got anything else you want to leave with before we wrap up?
No, man, this is good. Just thank you so much for being able to come in and talk and show my authentic self and to talk about the things that I love. And yeah, it was good. All love, all things green. You know, my
All
favorite
things green.
color.
I never had a problem with that. Look, man.
Do have one more thing is I do have to leave with this. I always close out with 3 things.
All
People
right.
be earthy, be soulful, and be all the elements. You
And we'll end with mine as well. I always say, always visualize your goals. And after that, accomplish those visualized goals. And you're a living testimony of it, man. So again, thank you, Corey.
you're welcome. Been
Have a
good.
good one, man.
You
We
too.
out.